After qualifying here in Hungary, it was Daniel Ricciardo taking his first pole of the season, masterfully driving his Red Bull to a 122.0 and 3/10ths quicker than the McLaren of Stoffel van Dorn, who picks up another front row start at a track that can be difficult to overtake at. Row 2 is all Ferrari, with Vettel pipping Rosberg once again, but by just 17 one-thousandths of a second on this occasion, both of which went faster than Hamilton though, who barely managed to go below 122.5. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen was way off the pace of his Australian teammate, a shocking 6.5 adrift in Q3. Row 4 is all silver, with aarava edging out Wehrlein for 7th position and just 0.02 of a second separating them. And bringing up the rear, Williams will likely be very happy just to have both of their cars featured in Q3, even if they were both over a second and a half off of Ricciardo's pace.
What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to my F1 MyDriver career mode, episode number 8 for season 2 here today at the Hungarian Grand Prix. The last one was Monaco, so if you missed that episode, do go check that out on the channel, episode number 7. But you guys absolutely smashed that once again on the support, so I can't thank you guys enough. Always awesome to read the comments there on below on these episodes. It just really is quite humbling, so thank you guys so much for that. But here we are for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Plenty of shake-ups in the grid. Obviously, we've seen Ferrari improve a lot over the summer break here in MyDriver, and we've placed down a little bit lower than we might have wanted, but we should have pretty good race pace. At the moment, it's overcast conditions, so that should help us a little bit, because I felt like in qualifying, we had a few overheating issues. The front tyres were really getting quite hot in the twisty section of Sector 2 here in the Hungarian Grand Prix, so hopefully the kind of overcast conditions help us out a little bit. It's going to be a 3-stop today, I feel, for us today. Tyre wear and undercuts on pit stops, I feel, are going to be very, very important this race, so let's see how everything pans out. We go to 5 red lights for the second half of this season, and we are away. A lot of wheel spin on the first gear, and second gear we move to the left and right a little bit to try and correct it. Wehrlein's made a good start. He's up into 7th place now. We're going to try and feed our way through. We go to the outside of the track, double lock up, but we just managed to not hit the back of Verstappen. We go cleanly right around the outside of him. A bit of oversteer. We'll go side by side with him still, as he'll get a good run on the right hand side of the track, but we'll go down the inside of Hamilton now. Lock up on the left front. That'll actually help us get the car slowed down and turned in, actually, and we just go swooping around the outside of Hamilton there. He gives up the position, and we're up into 5th place, and that's a very good start to the Grand Prix, considering the actual getaway we got off the 5 red lights. And now we're right behind Nico Rosberg. Slipstream will make a diving move down the inside into turn 1, a lot like Ricciardo did in real life in 2014, and we're going side by side with Rosberg, who's got a better run on the outside of the corner on the exit there. I'm going to try and hang it round, maybe we do the switchback line actually, and see how that goes for us. But no, Rosberg actually goes up a little bit slower in the middle part of the corner and lets us through there for 4th place. I really thought I was maybe going to do the switchback move there, but it looks like Rosberg just lost a lot of speed in that mid-corner part. So now we're up into 4th place, and now we go on to lap 3. Van Dorn there, setting a pretty fast lap time, but we completely wreck that at the same time with a purple lap time there, closing up to these 3 guys. Very close into turn 1. You can see Van Dorn and Ricciardo, look at that, going side by side as we get a bit of oversteer, trying to catch them eagerly, but Vettel's also getting in the mix here, so I'm sort of sensing maybe they might something might happen here as they go a little bit close. Van Dorn locking up, but there might be an opportunity to overtake maybe even a few of these guys right now, as they're just so close. I just can sense something's going to go wrong here in their world, in one of these persons' world. If it has to be anyone, I'm going to guess it's going to be Sebastian Vettel, because let's face it, he's had a lot of bad luck this season so far, so if anything's going to go wrong for one of these 3 guys ahead of us, it's probably going to be him. But let's see how it goes. We come into the second sector. As I said, quite a tricky one this weekend so far. The tyres love to overheat through this section, but we're doing well right now, closing up on Vettel through the final second last corner there on the hairpin, through to the last corner, which is a second hairpin. We swoop right there. We're trying to get a good line to get the acceleration off the corner, and we'll have DRS this lap also, but behind us the McLaren will also have DRS, so this can be very, very close. But we're going to try and slipstream the Ferrari as best we can, but Vettel is going to do the same to Ricciardo. He goes down the inside. We're going to have to just settle back and watch this. But Ricciardo here has got a good run on Vettel. They make contact there, the front right to Vettel's rear left, and Vettel slows down there, loses some momentum, and so now we go down the inside of him. So he's gone from probably thinking I'll get up into 2nd place to now probably going down to 4th as we go right around the outside of him on the right-hander, and we're up into 3rd place. And now he's got Lewis Hamilton for company right behind him. As you can see there on the panning shot, Van Dorn out in the lead by quite some way. And now on to lap 5, we're chasing down Ricciardo, but that really worked out in our favour. And what did I say? Did I not call it, guys? I said one of those guys can get some bad luck here. It's not going to end well for one of those guys, and Vettel is the one. I called it. I got some poor luck. Probably not as much as I thought he would. I thought maybe one of these guys would have crashed out or something, honestly, because they were so close together. But Vettel still got some really pretty bad luck there. But now we're on the back of Ricciardo because of all that. And we've got good momentum through that right-hander. Really good in fourth gear. We've slipstream. Ricciardo will go down the inside, lock up quite horribly. Look at the brake disc low. And Ricciardo sticks it around the outside, though, because I've not got the best run on the exit. And Ricciardo will try and send it down the inside, keep it down the inside. He does so successfully and actually squeezes me off the track. Jesus Christ, how rude. We go through the final corner. We're going to do the same to him, squeeze him out a little bit, and actually allows Vettel to make a cheeky little move down the inside last corner. But look at this. How many cars are there behind us in the mirrors? Vettel moves to the right-hand side of the circuit. Hamilton does the same. Ricciardo's now on the left-hand side. We're getting squeezed out and sandwiched. Look at that. 7 cars within 1 second there in that shot of the replay camera. We go right around the outside of Hamilton. We've lost the back end, though. We got the acceleration on the curb there, and that lost us the rear end, so we've actually had to concede that place to Hamilton. We tried our best, but now cutting later on into sector 2, Hamilton is now on the back of Vettel, and they go side by side here, so we're going to have to settle for 4th at the moment. Just watch this battle go through. But look at this, side by side through a lot of the corners here, and Vettel squeezing Hamilton out. Hamilton's not going to have any of it. Brilliant to watch this is. It truly is, as Hamilton now squeezes Vettel on the exit. Gets a bit of oversteer, though, and Vettel will come back at him with some slipstream, and we'll do the same and hopefully get a bit of a double toe here. And let's see how it goes into turn 1. Is Vettel going to have the balls to try and go right around the outside of Hamilton? He's going to try his best, and we lock up, double lock up from us, and we get very close to Vettel's rear end, but we go really deep into the corner and ultimately lose a lot of time there. Just getting a bit overexcited there. I was getting so eager to get up to these guys and overtake them because that last lap was so exhilarating, so much adrenaline pumping when you got 7 cars so close to one another, and you just know if you make a mistake you're going to lose so many places, and if you gain some you're going to gain so many places. So a lot of action here, a lot of eagerness right now. But on lap 7 I realised my tyres are completely off, probably a reason why I locked up quite heavily into turn 1. So we're going to calm things down, come into the pits now. A lot of people in the pits, both Ferraris and both Mercs. You can see my teammate there at the back of that train. So both Ferraris here and we, Mercedes, are going to double stack here. Wehrlein gets held up a little bit, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because Ferrari will also get held up a little bit, but that does mean that the Red Bull will definitely be ahead of Wehrlein. So nothing much I could do about that. I definitely had to come in that pit stop, and I wasn't going to, I had track position. I wasn't going to let Wehrlein go through just because maybe that was his planned pit stop. He can go out one more lap if he's behind me, so that was his call, really, to be honest. We come out just ahead of the Saubers, and Ricciardo, crucially there, just gets ahead of that Sauber as well, so he can try and chase me down. But now on lap 9 now, we're up into 8th place, 7th, and we're going to climb some more positions as we have people in the pits right now. Into turn 1, we can see Grosjean there in the Manor ahead of us, so it looks like the Manor car's going for a bit of a longer stint here, and he's actually 4th position. He's not going to get blue flagged here, so we're going to have to watch out for that, and hopefully they don't hold us up too much, because we've got one Daniel Ricciardo right behind us, and Ricciardo, look at that, he actually goes for a move. You can see his front wing there in the bottom left just kind of came into vision there as he tried the little cheeky move down the inside, but it didn't work. But that was quite a late call by him. That was sort of a move I would try and make down the inside. Very late call there. But now we close up to Grosjean. Hopefully, as I just said before we were attacked by Ricciardo, hopefully he's not going to hold us up too much, but he is full position, so he's within his rights to defend from me. But I just don't see a reason why, because he's doing his own race. I think he's on the prime tyres as well. Yeah, he is on the white wall tyres. So I really don't see any point of him trying to put up much of a fight. We have to go right around the outside of him. Unfortunately, he doesn't kind of let the place go so easily there, but that's fine. We haven't lost too much time there, and Ricciardo will also get held a little bit by Grosjean there in the Manor. So we're up into 6th now as we go on to lap 10, up into 5th, and we'll see. I think that's another Manor car ahead of us. Yeah, Matsushita up ahead in another Manor car. So both Manors going for a bit of a weird contra strategy, going a little bit longer in the Grand Prix, although it does mean that they're kind of getting in our way. So I've said it before in the season that it doesn't really bother me that they're so fast right now in this season, that they might get in our way a little bit, as long as it's not really affecting us too much. But at the moment right here, you can see I tried to make a move around the outside, and the Manor car just kind of moves a little bit awkwardly in the middle of the circuit here, and this is now holding me up. So at this point, I am a little bit annoyed. This is really actually holding me up. Like it was fine with Grosjean, went around the outside, no biggie, but right here, this is not helping me at all. I'm getting a lot of dirty air here, losing some time to Ricciardo, and it's not letting up. Look at this. It's been an entire sector, and only now do we send one down the inside in 4th gear through that right-hander. Make a pretty nice move there, but it just wasn't needed. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Maybe need to talk to the guys back at the factory, talk to the corporate boys just about maybe, letting the Manor cars know that if, we're right behind them, even if it's 4th position, maybe just let us go a little bit, be a bit kind. And so there, Gasly goes into the pits, and the Toro Rosso there, so he gets out of our way, thankfully. Van Dorn setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix so far, and you can see clearly visually he's nowhere to be seen at the moment, so he's really got it going on in his Hungarian Grand Prix, so that's not too great for us, as of course we are fighting Van Dorn and Ricciardo immediately in the championship right now, but we cut later on to the Grand Prix, on towards our second pit stop now. Unfortunately, not too much happening in that second stint apart from overtaking those Manic cars. Just pushed as hard as I could on those option tyres to try and get as much time as I could, and now we're actually going to go on to the prime tyres, the white wall tyres, so bit of a different thing to what the other guys might be doing. I believe Ricciardo is going to go onto the options and then go onto the primes at the end, whereas I'm doing the reverse, so this may hinder us at the start of this stint, you know, in the middle of it, when our tyres start to go off a little bit, and the prime tyres just don't work generally well on the Mercedes car, but hopefully it will all come through at the last stint, where we'll be quite fast against everyone else on prime tyres. But anyway, on to lap 20. Speaking of that, Ricciardo right up our gearbox here, and look at the speed he's got with DRS, and off that corner, brilliant traction by the Red Bull guys. Obviously they've got a fantastic chassis, and so Ricciardo gets some beautiful acceleration there on lap 20, and we just kind of sit back. We can't really do much. I try my best to maybe stick with him through the brake zone. We'll try and just stick with him right now for the rest of the stint, but it's going to be very difficult to try and make something of it. On lap 23, a few laps later, we're still sticking with Ricciardo within 1 second. We're going very audaciously into turn 1, try and gain as much time as we can, braking as late as we can, trying to gain on Ricciardo. We've still got DRS on him, but we just can't get right up to him to make that overtake. On lap 24, though, we pretty much get in that position, but as you're about to see, annoyingly, Ricciardo's actually come to the end of his stint, so he comes into the pit stops. Obviously, he's on the option tyres, and so we're on the prime, so we're going a little bit longer. So he's going to be going onto the prime tyres right now. We're going to go onto the option, the yellow wall tyre. So now this should be our advantage, theoretically, as we go into the next pit stop. But we're on to lap 26 right now, just showing you as we come through, you can see a car coming out the pits, and that is Van Dorn. Van Dorn is an entire pit stop ahead of us. He has been literally lightning fast this weekend. I've got to hand it to him. Obviously, you know, he's my rival, but I've got to be respectful of him. He's literally been on it like a car bonnet. His pace has just been electric so far. To have a whole pit stop on me is truly very impressive. So we're coming to the pit, speaking about pit stops, and we're going to come on for that final set of option tyres. So, as I said, this should put us back in the driving seat and advantage against the likes of Ricciardo and also Lewis Hamilton, who you might have seen there on the replay camera go past us on the right-hand side on the circuit. So Hamilton is ahead of us. I'm not too sure where Ricciardo is. Hopefully we'll be staying ahead of him. Let's see how it goes as we come out of the pits right now. We'll look to the right-hand side of the circuit, or the left-hand side right now from our POV on board. And there is Ricciardo behind us in the mirrors, you can see, as we'll look back shortly and just confirm that for you. There is Ricciardo right behind us. So crucially, we've got some clean air against Hamilton. Let's just go out and bang it and just see what this car can do. Coming through the final corner, pushing hard on the outlaps, and we're just trying to use this clean air that we've got to try and close up on Hamilton. We're on the faster tyre. We've just banged in the fast lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:22 there. We are going well. Hamilton is 12 seconds ahead of us. We've got 6 laps left in this Grand Prix, so we need to gain 2 seconds a lap. You know, we're on the faster tyre. The car's feeling well. It's on rails at the moment on the option tyres. Let's go get him. So we cut later on, lap 31 now. We are physically and visually a lot closer to Hamilton right now. You can see the gap is now 8 seconds, closing up. Still setting fastest laps of the Grand Prix, fastest sectors, I should say. And we close up to Ericsson right now. He's for a lap position, so he'll have blue flags. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he doesn't hold us up too much, because we're really in a rhythm at the moment. You know, when you get in that kind of zone, you don't want to break it. You don't want to kind of get out of it. And thankfully, Ericsson gets cleanly out of the way. Quite surprising, because usually on this game, the AI are completely, to be completely honest, they're complete pillocks about it, and they just don't get out of the way. But thankfully, Ericsson does. We make that a really nice sector there, and by lap 33, we're right behind Hamilton. 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix, not including this one. So it's all for us to gain and all for us to lose here. We have to try and make this move and make it stick just before the Grand Prix ends. We've got good tyres. We've got rich mix there on the right-hand side, as you can see. A little bit of fuel left, so we'll have to maybe put that down to standard eventually. But through these final corners, I'm going to keep it in rich, because look at the amount of traction we're gaining on Hamilton here. He may have the faster car, you know, technically with Van Dorn showing that pace. But at the moment, we're working really well with the Mercedes. Right up his gearbox, but through the final corner, we'll get a bit of tank slapper there, a bit of oversteer. We'll still catch the car, though, so no harm done. That could have been very bad, actually. That could have been a lot like what Vettel did in 2014 on the exit of that corner. But we've dived down the inside of Hamilton there. Very audacious move. Lock up, double lock up on the front there. Hamilton comes across me and gets the place back. So I was just a bit too eager. Once more, the eagerness within me gets the better of me. And that was a lot like what happened to Ricciardo and Rosberg in the real-life Grand Prix 2014. Although, thankfully, Hamilton didn't chop off my front wing there on the exit of the corner. So I've got to thank him for that. But we'll stick behind him here. A little bit frustrating, but again, just the eagerness getting, getting with me. When you have a good car and you got this speed, I sort of understand how sometimes maybe Hamilton and Rosberg make a few mistakes when they're maybe fighting their way back through the field in these past 2 years. Because when you got a good car and you got it working very well, you just get so impatient and so eager to get the move, especially when you pushed so many laps. As soon as you get up to the car, you're trying to catch up. You just want to make the move straight there and then as fast as you can. But we're going to try our best right now, swooping through this right-hander, and we're going to try and get him into the same place we got Ricciardo maybe. Got the slipstream right up his gearbox. We'll go down the inside. This time we won't lock up, and we'll get him completely before the corner even finishes there, and we're up into second place. And so we've successfully done as much as we can do in this Grand Prix. Van Dorn, complete props to him. He's just had so much pace in this Grand Prix, and he's deserved to win it because, it didn't look like he had the pace in qualifying. Ricciardo was on pole position, but Van Dorn has just shown once again what a driver he is right now this season, in his rookie season, to get another win in his career right now. He's won the Hungarian Grand Prix, but we've come home in a fantastic second place, you've got to say, after that fight back in the last stint. I'm really, really happy with that, and that was such a fun race. That first stint was an absolute madness with so many cars so close together. There you go, confirmation. Stoffel Van Dorn wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, 25 points in the bag for him. Myself, second place, 18 points. Hamilton finished out the podium in third. Ricciardo there finishes fourth. My teammate gets up into fifth place there, ahead of the Ferrari of Vettel, who had some poor luck there in the middle part of that race. Also, obviously, he had that contact with Ricciardo that didn't help. Verstappen down in seventh, which is probably quite poor and quite disappointing for him, considering the pace his teammate had, and his teammate was battling for second at one point, whereas Verstappen wasn't at all in this Grand Prix, so a little bit disappointing for him. Rosberg down there in eighth place, so all in all, rounds out a quite disappointing weekend for Ferrari, you got to say, because, they looked pretty good in qualifying. They looked like their car did improve after the summer break, but in the race, they just fell back a little bit. I don't know if they had any overheating issues, but it just wasn't there for them today. And then the Manor and the Force India round out the points. But that has been this episode for the Hungarian Grand Prix, guys. I've been aarava. If you did enjoy the episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. As I said before, I love reading through the comments. It's been absolutely awesome to read the support on this series so far, guys. So thank you very much once again for that. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I will leave you guys with the post-race interviews. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
So quite a fight back at the end there. You had some great pace. Can you tell us about how the race felt out there?
Yeah, some good pace out there. Car felt really great at the last stint. Some of the laps felt like qualifying laps. The car was on the absolute rails through some of the corners, so really good there. And for the rest of the race, yeah, really fun out there. Actually, fond memories of Hungary from last season, where we had a very close race there with the Ferraris. This season again with not only the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, Mclaren, everyone. So it was a really fun race out there. Unfortunate to not be closer to first. I felt like the pace was there at the end. We showed it by overtaking Hamilton, but I think Stoffel got very lucky not being in the fight at the start. He got away quite cleanly away from Ricciardo once he overtook him, so I think he just got a little bit lucky in that sense. But also, at the same time, did show the pace out there, so fair play, and he's done the job this weekend. But I'm not too disappointed after that, because it's a fun race out there, and we were able to come back to second. I thought for a second we might have lost second place after we were so far behind Hamilton, but yeah, pace was there to catch him up.
So it's the start of the second half of the season. Still feeling confident?
Yeah, definitely, very, very confident, especially after the summer break. We didn't really know how our upgrades were going to work out. If other teams had really upgraded, I mean, we probably brought more tweaks and upgrades, really. And we were a little bit nervous in qualifying, not going to lie, afterwards, because the tyres just didn't seem to work well. We didn't know if that was just the car. And then, the race came along today, and, thankfully, it's been sorted. It was just a tyre issue in qualifying, so I think going into the next one, which is obviously the home Grand Prix, looking forward to that one a lot, and hopefully we don't hit any tyre issues there. But yeah, looks like the car's still very much there for the taking, very much like, on par with the McLarens and Red Bulls here and there. And, by the scraps we had in the first stint, looks like it's going to be a fun second half.
And what did you make of Ferrari today? They really seemed to drop off in the race.
Not too sure, to be honest. I think maybe they hit some, issues in the race with the pace compared to the one lap, possibly. I mean, you saw Red Bull as well struggling today, so it could have been, going back to, I've said tyres before again, but I think it was a huge issue this weekend. Hungary is always one for the tyre wear and how the tyres work. I think maybe the colder conditions at the beginning of the race helped us more than Ferrari and Red Bull, but also at the same time, they all got caught up in the same fight as well that we were having, 7 cars within, what was it, 1 second to turn one or something like that. It was crazy. So I think everyone just suffered that. I think it might have masked the true performance. So I think next race we'll probably see a bit more, a bit more of a wider track, a bit more open track. Silverstone, obviously. So I think we'll probably see, you know, really the actual pace of all the teams next weekend.
All right, thanks for your time.
Cheers, thanks a lot.